Hello everyone, how are you? Come on in. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. Salutations. Everything I say on this video is alleged and it's in my opinion and it's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button and click on the notification button so you can know when I upload a video. Anyway, I want to talk today about, it's Love and Marriage Huntsville as usual, but I want to talk about Trish and her husband, her now husband, I think his name is Marques or Marques, probably one of those. Anyway, from what I viewed, it states that they got married really early. They were both young, I think like 18, 19 years old. So they both was very immature, inexperienced with being married, having kids, living on their own, all of that. So you have to give them some grace when it comes to that. And for them to stay married as long as they have. And they lived together for quite a while as well, being married. My problem I have with the husband is that when he got tired, or realized he didn't want the relationship, didn't want the marriage, didn't want the responsibility, he just left. And as she was going through her very traumatic experiences and death in her family, losing her mother, her father, and her sister, and he was not there for her. I feel that that was very, very wrong of him. And he had the nerve to say, well, he had never experienced anyone dying in his family. That's not the point. You've experienced sadness or pain. You see her hurting for whatever the reason is. You've seen her hurt. Be there for her. Be a shoulder. If you don't know what to do, just be there and hold her. You could have done that. You should have done that. But you chose not to. And then on top of that, you chose to say you loved her, but you don't know if you was ever in love. And that you just, you left. But you're trying to say, I didn't leave my children, I left the situation. You left your children too, Marques. When you left the situation, you left your children. You left everything on that woman. Bills, responsibilities, raising, teaching, everything you left on her. Along with her going through the death in her family, her grieving period of both parents and her sister. You left a lot on that woman. And I think this is the reason why she made the decision she did, which had she not been in that situation, I'm thinking that Tricia would not have allowed Ken to move in with them before she got a divorce from Marques. Because I feel Tricia should have. Once her husband moved out of her house and left them, if she wanted to give him 6 months or a year, she should have went on and filed that divorce. You don't need him to file a divorce. He don't have to be there in agreement. You go down there and you file your divorce. And you serve the last address of him. And that's a done deal. You don't wait 5 years. You don't bring a man into your home, committing adultery, allowing your children to get close to this man, not knowing if y'all gonna make it. You don't do that. That's what I totally disagree with what Tricia did. She allowed this man that she met, which is Ken. And I'm not saying anything bad about Ken. From what we've seen, Ken seemed to be a stand-up guy. But I don't think Ken should have moved in that woman's house with her and her children while she was still married to that other man. That's another man's wife and children. That's another man's family. He should have just stayed in his place and they should have dated until they made the decision that they're going to really be together and get married. You don't move in and let the children be influenced by the relationship they kindled. Now, Trish, you've shown your daughter that when you get tired of a marriage, you don't have to be divorced to go move on and get with somebody else. Not just get with somebody else, live with somebody else. You've shown your son that if he leaves, that a woman might just get her another man and not even be divorced, and that the daddy don't have to be there. He can get another man to come in and take over. It's just not a good look, Trish. You should have got yourself together first of all. And I know all this is too late because it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's already happened that you have already moved the man in. But I don't have a dislike for you and your character. I have understanding. We were a young mother. You are alone, struggling, trying to take care of your children, trying to hold up your household, trying to make sure everything was taken care of. Because the father of your children walked out on you. And along came this guy, which seemed to be a great guy, that had understanding and sympathy for you, cared for you and your children, which I totally understand. A shoulder to lean on, someone to tell you it's going to be all right, someone to say, I got that other half for you, or I got that for you, or I could do this for you. I could take your daughter to school, I could buy your son a car, because Marques, your husband, said that the car your son drive now, Ken bought it. And he said that Marques said he went up to his daughter's school. And they said, oh, you made it back, from off the road driving trucks. And he was like, I don't drive no trucks. And the person told him, well, your daughter did a whole video on her daddy driving trucks. So the daughter going to school claiming Ken to be her daddy. And Marques said the girl was 7 years old when Ken came into her life, or when he left. And she's 10 now. So she was young and influenced by this great person, this man that's been a great dad to her. And her dad left her. She was broken. My dad is gone. But now I got a new dad that's doing better. That's here. So I'm going to hold on to this new dad. I ain't going to talk to my old dad. It's a child. And for Marques to say, when the daughter said that you left us, that wasn't the child's thought. That was what the mother told the child. No, that child got enough understanding to know if somebody left her or not. Now, what I don't agree with, though, Trish, back on Trish, when you and Marques met over there, and he told you about his daughter calling another man dad and not wanting to talk to him, and said that she was at the school claiming Ken for her dad, you said that don't have nothing to do with you. Yes, it does. Because first of all, Trish, you don't let your daughter get in that position where she's clinging and holding on to another man that may leave y'all. Another man that might crush her thoughts of having a great father. Another man that might hurt her because you brought him into her life. You should never allow your young daughter to be that close to a man that's not even your husband. That everything is gravy now. But tomorrow is always another day. And things happen. Life happens. Life happens. People get disappointed. God won't disappoint you, but men will. So you should not have allowed that man to get that close to your children. You guys not even married. And then when you and Marques was talking and he said the divorce is $400 you got so pissed. Why? I wouldn't have got mad. I said, I'll pay the whole thing, just sign the paper. Because I want out of this. I wouldn't have got in my confessionals and said, that really pissed me off when he said pay half. Ken to pay it. Why Ken got to pay for y'all divorce? Ken shouldn't pay for y'all divorce. Because when you get mad at Ken, and like I said on the other video, and you throw up in Ken's face, I divorced my husband because of you. If I knew it was going to be like this, I would have stayed married to the man I was married to. Things like that happen. Conversations and arguments like that happens. Ken has no business paying for nothing that's going to separate you from your legally married husband. That's between you and your husband. And if your husband don't want to do it, and you know you want to be divorced, go on and pay that $400. Ken is already in your house now. That man ain't responsible to pay for y'all divorce. That sounds so stupid. Ken to pay for it. Come on, be a grown woman. Be a grown woman and take care of your responsibilities. Have a conversation with your daughter where it comes to Ken and where it comes to her daddy. And let her know that her daddy will always be her daddy. Good, bad, or ugly. That's your daddy. That is your biological father. Yes, I love Ken, and yes, we're going to get married. But if Ken leaves, Ken is not your father. No matter where your dad goes, that is still your daddy. You should not have allowed her to hold on that tight to that man. That's wrong of you, Trish. And if she gets her heart broken by this other man, that's going to be your fault. Now, her daddy, that's his fault. But if Ken hurts her, that's your fault, Trish. Because you should not have allowed them to get this close already. Y'all ain't even divorced. You and her father is not even divorced. And Marques talking about he want to talk to Ken. That's fine. But Marques needs to talk to his children and be there for his children. As a matter of fact, all four of y'all need to be in a room together. When we saw that scene where you went and brought your two kids in there and asked your kids how they feel about you marrying Ken, that was ridiculous. Because you ain't even divorced their daddy yet. That subject should have never been brought to those kids yet. You should have never asked your children something like that. Not yet. What you should have said is tell your children, y'all know your daddy's been gone. We're getting a divorce. I'm going down here and file these divorce papers. And I'm going to get this all cleared up. I'm going to divorce your dad. How you guys feel about that? And once you are divorced from that man that you're married to, and your head is clear, then you think about if you're going to marry Ken or not. Because Ken does look like the good person. He's there helping you pick up that heavy load. But are you in love with Ken? Or do you just love him and like the things he do? Are you in love with Ken? Because it doesn't look like you're in love with Ken to me. It looks like you respect him and you love him. But I don't see no passion in love with him. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And Dr. Heavenly said, well, Trish got all the closure she needed when he said something about she gonna go half on that divorce. That half on that divorce shouldn't have gave her closure. She should have got closure after he wouldn't come back after 6 months to a year. I'm done. If I gave him that long, I'm done. You stay on out there. If he stayed out there 6 months and we were still in communication, as if to think maybe we're gonna get back together. After a year, and we still in communication, but it doesn't look like we get back together, this thing is a no-go. It's over. I'm going to get a divorce. I'm not finna stay married to this man and go out here and mess around with some other man that's committing adultery. See, nobody's above God for me. These men is not worth it. Not when it comes to God. You living in that house in an adulterous state with your children and kin. You're teaching your daughter a horrible act. She should not be still married to her husband and live with another man ever in life. I just can't respect you for that, Trish. I just can't. I respect you for holding it up and taking care of your children and keeping yourself together and going on. I understand that struggle of making sure your children have. But to bring that man into their life, I can't respect you for that. Not the way you did it. And not to say anything bad about Ken. And Dr. Heavenly was praising Ken. Yeah, Ken doing good. Well, what else he gonna do if he gonna move in the house with a woman? And he ain't even married her yet. If he don't show up good, then she should have sense enough to get rid of him. But I think a man should have told this one man, I care about you. I want you. But I can't be with you until you make your decision if you and your husband are finished. I'm going to stay on over here on Locust Street. And we're going to date. And when you decide that you're really ready to divorce your husband, we can see where we can take it from there. He shouldn't have moved into that woman's house with her, being married. That don't make no sense. And Trish, if it don't work between you and Ken, how you gonna feel? How you gonna look? You brought him in your house and didn't clean up your house first. You don't bring guests over when the house is not clean. You don't show your children things that doesn't add up. You don't teach them that it's okay to live the way you guys are living at this point. Because it's not okay. It's not, Trish. And I pray that things work out for you and Ken. I really do. Because of your children, especially your young daughter. And I hope her father can come back into her life and be the man that he's supposed to be. And when he does, I hope Ken got the decency to step aside because that's his child. And where Dr. Heavenly talking about Marques need to ask Ken for permission to see his own children, heck no. That's ridiculous. Now, Marques can tell Ken, I thank you for stepping in and helping my children. I thank you for being there for my children. But I want to be here. I'm here. And I want to come and I want to do for my own children. But I do thank you. I do thank you. But these are my children. It's my responsibility, not yours. But I want to thank you. And as for you, Trish, you need to make sure you allow their father to be their father. Because they're not your children. They're both of you guys' children. Women got it bad. He been gone. These my kids. I ain't finna step aside. He gonna have to ask me. No, you could not have those children without that man. So many women call the child or the children their children. No, they're not just your children. They're his children as well. You see how Melody Cherie has to make sure she allows or make sure she abides by the court's rules? Because that's Martell and Melody children. They're not Melody children. They're not Martell children. They're both of their children. And you, Trish, need to have a real conversation with your little daughter. Since she going to school pretending this man is her real father. He's not even her stepfather yet. Don't you see something wrong with that picture? Come on, it ain't got nothing to do with you. Yes, it got something to do with you. You her mother. You brought this man in her life. What are you talking about? And Ken, I really think you need to back up some. But it's probably too late. You all in. And I hope it work out for both of y'all. Marques, step up. Or Markeith, whichever one of your names is. Step up and take care of your children. Be there for your children. Be the man that you're supposed to be for your children. I don't know what happened between you and Trish. But you said something like as if she was talking to Ken before you moved out. Because you saw it on her phone. Now, I don't know if you had moved out and she still allowed you to see her phone when she came over. I don't understand that. Sound like to me, you saw that. Maybe, I don't know if you saw it online. I don't know where you saw that information from. But you the way you put it, it's like y'all was still living together in the house. When she started saying that's her homeboy. That was wrong of you too, Trish. Get rid of what you don't want. Make room for what you want. Clean up your mess. First, get you right. So if you're not in love with Ken, you won't be able to see it. Because you're so busy thinking he's the best thing ever because of what the husband was not. How the husband left you hanging. Wasn't there for you or the children. And then this man come along and be there for you and your children. I understand that. Truly, I do. But it doesn't mean move in with him. Doesn't mean rush it. It means that you met a wonderful person that's willing to share your pain. That's willing to help you on some bills and help you with your children. But you guys should not have moved together, I don't think. But again, that's just my opinion. Talking about Trish and Ken. God bless y'all union if that's what it's supposed to be. And Marques, you step up and be the father to those children. Trish should be a better mother. Be a better mother. It's not just financially. Be a better mother. Be there for your children in more ways than just financially or whatever. Talk to your children. Have real conversations about what you're doing and bring it into their lives. That's all I have to say, lovelets. Talk to y'all later. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and click the bell for anytime I do a video, it'll pop up and let you know. You'll get notification. Goodbye, lovelets.